stand up nice and tall with the hands reaching down and away from the ears. We want nice length across the shoulders, reaching the hands down as close towards the feet as we can without collapsing forward. We want to stand up nice and tall. We keep the legs nice and strong, the kneecaps drawn in towards the hips, the tummy drawn right the way in and engaging, embracing from here as the hands reach. And we bring ourselves up towards the top of our mat. And back of the neck nice and long, arms strong. We hang out here for a moment. So, with a nice big inhale through the nose, if the nose is clear, we reach the arms skyward and look up towards the thumbs and lengthen. From here we lower, we hinge at the hips, we draw the tummy in, we reach down as far as we are comfortably, where we can bend the knees down, take it down as far as we like, tucking the chin in at the end, where the legs can remain straight. We raise the head up and lengthen again, legs straight or bent, and then we step back the length of the mat. We can drop that back knee, step back the length of the mat, drop the back knee, and then from here we're going to lower ourselves down towards the ground, the bum in the air and the chin low. You can rest the chest to the ground and slide the feet back and lower fully down, lifting up very gently. Don't want to push too hard into the arms. Don't want the arms to do much work at all. Or we can lift it up a little bit higher, or we can bring it up higher again, whatever works. From here, we bring ourselves back to that box position. We turn the toes. We bring the hips back towards the heels. And we hang out here for a moment. Bring ourselves back up. We push into the feet. And we lift our hips up nice and high. So the chin is tucked. The knees can be bent here. We want the angle between the wrist and the hips to be nice and straight or flat. We don't want to be too far forward over the shoulders. And if we are, we can just bend the knees and sink it back. And then we can work towards straightening the legs. We can work the heels towards the ground, and we can have the heels up. It doesn't really matter for the moment. If we get tired at all in this position, instead of just dropping out, we can keep that engagement in the upper body, and we can lower the hips down. We keep the hands and the hips in a nice straight line. We look towards the hands if the neck is free, and for this we can just walk the feet in towards the hands, see how far we can get and how straight we can be. The head is up, we lower the chin down, again the knees can be bent or straight, and then reach the arms skyward and we look up. And exhale, we turn to standing and we stand. So we're going to go nice and easy with this routine this morning, so we're going to break things down straight away. So nice and easy. We reach the arms skyward towards the ceiling. You can't see, your arms are just out of shot. I'm going to try to draw the shoulders down and away from the ears, creating a space between the ears and the arms. The hands, where the palms are together or the hands are apart, or even interlaced and make like a James Bond gun here, we can reach the arms up. I'll go apart today. Legs nice and strong, tummy nicely drawn back as we reach. We don't want to lean too far back into it, we want to be nice and flat. From here, we lower the hands down and reach the hands down towards the ground. Can't quite make it with straight legs, but that's just fine. We can bend the legs and make it down, or we can keep the legs straight and just catch onto the shins or the knees or whatever suits. And we hang out here just for a moment. From there, bend the knees down again. We step the foot back, drop that back knee. Step the foot back, drop the back knee. And then we lower the hips towards the heels. We'll probably turn the toes back to this position, or downward facing dog position. We turn the left foot slightly to the back of the mat. We bring the right foot quite close to the hands, and we're going to bring ourselves up nice and tall. So we're going to keep a nice lunge in the right knee, both arms again reaching up if we like. As the neck is free, we look upwards. Nice, strong, straight back leg. nice lunge, or not, we can be closer to straight, but we want to be nice and low as we turn and lower the hands down. We want to avoid that knee dropping in. We want to keep it peeling out, both legs in fact, and the arms up. And the gaze is out over the right hand. The shoulders relax away from the ears. We don't want to be too up. We want to be nice and low. Reaching towards whatever, we lower the right elbow to the right knee and reach the left arm up. What we're trying to achieve here is a straight line, about 45 degrees-ish, from the hands down towards the heel of the left foot. Take all the positions, we can hold them for five breaths, that is, 5 full inhales and exhales. Lower that left hand down towards the ground, lower the right hand down, and then we work towards straightening into the right leg. It may or may not straighten, that's fine, keep the bend, it's totally fine. The chin in towards the chest, we breathe. And look towards the hands. Step the left foot in. And then from there, you might step the right foot back. Then deeply into the left knee. And then reach both arms skyward here. If the neck is free, the head is behind the arms. Otherwise, we're nice and low and the breath is free. It's not so much a back bend, we want to be more flat, but if we're a little bit tight, the back is free, the front is side, we might end up with a back bend, that's fine. Turn away to the right, arms down, and again remember we keep that left knee and the right thigh turning out, and the hands relaxed in a horizontal position. We reach with the left hand, we lower the left elbow to the left knee and reach the right arm over. Guys, hang out there, I'm just going to change directions. We take the next exercise and show from the front. Nice strong lunge in the left knee, nice flat line between the right hand and the right heel. From here we work the right hand down and the left, and then we work towards straightening into the left leg, but it doesn't have to be straight, anywhere we like. And head up, we just walk the hands inwards, let the left heel turn with you. We find ourselves down in this position here, so we can be down with the legs straight or bent. On the side, the knees can be bent. We don't want to lock the knees back. We do want the legs nice and strong. We can walk the hands back as far as is comfortable. If they can't quite reach, well that's fine. We can be up along the shins. We can be wherever we like. Keep the tummy nice and strong. The back reasonably flat. We don't want to lean too far back into it. We want to just be a little bit forward, but not up onto tippy toes. And we hang out here. We can even lower down after our 5 breaths, and we can relax, lengthening towards the ground. And again, if the hands are there, they reach it. The head comes up, and then inhale fully upright we come, and we relax. From here, if we reach the arms wide, take the hands behind our back, interlacing the fingers to the back, and we reach the arms away. We breathe in, and then we just lower forward. If we can, if the shoulders are back, the shoulder blades are near touching, and the chest is open, the arms will dangle, and we try to work those arms beyond vertical. But quite often we find that the hands are down, locked in, because the chest might be a little bit tight, and we might be a little bit locked here. And we don't have to force anything or do anything, but we just want to work on working the shoulders back. We still may not get any movement just yet, but pretty soon the arms and shoulders will free up, so whatever works for us here. Nice big inhale, upright we come. we step to the top of the mat here. From here, hopefully nice and easy, we're going to take our right foot. Now I'm going to go left to mirror you guys so you can just mirror what I'm doing. So I'm going to be left, but you guys go take the right foot or the right knee into the right hand. You show from the side, you don't turn. We stand up nice and tall. If the balance is a little bit off, you can just catch onto a wall or a cupboard or a bed or a chair or whatever you like. Taking the knee out to the side. We don't want to twist on that standing leg too much. We want the foot to remain forward facing and the knee working out to the side. With the tummy nice and strong. The hand, the left hand on the waist, feeling that engagement of the muscles that keep us nice, upright and tall. From here, if it can hold itself, fantastic. We can catch the foot or the shin of the right leg, and we want to try to press the sole of the foot in towards the inner thigh. So we want to press the sole of the foot into the inner thigh of the left leg, and the left inner thigh push back. Again, if you're looking for something to do with our hands, we can hold on to our waist here and encourage that engagement, trying to offer that extra bit of stability, relaxing the shoulders away from the ears and breathing. From here, we point the toe away. We'll just introduce this now because it is good work. We try to get the leg as straight as we can and as high as we can without bending into the other leg. And that can be quite low as well, it doesn't really matter. The key to it is that it's straight and it's elevated. And then release and relax and down. Onto the left foot then straight away. We take the left knee to the hand, stand up nice and tall. Again, that hand not just hanging. Give it a jog, holding the waist, keeping the tummy nicely engaged. Knee out to the side. And 5. And then from there we try to catch into the left foot. We draw that heel quite close in towards the middle. We press the left foot in towards the inner thigh. Nice flexion at the knee joint. We work. Again, the hands are on the waist, maintaining that engagement. And from there, we're releasing and pointing the toe away, nice and straight. Nice and high if we can. Nice and low, doesn't matter. The key to it is we're straight and we don't lean too far back into it. We don't want to bend into the right leg. And release and relax and down. Fantastic. From here we're going to transition nicely in towards the ground. If we bring ourselves up towards the top of our mat, we reach the arms skyward, look up towards the thumbs. We hinge at the hips and lower, placing the hands down. And then for today, we're just going to lower the hips down towards the heels. And keep the feet slightly apart. We sit up nice and tall. We'll just hang out here for a moment. We'll just try and introduce a little bit of freedom into the hips, because that's the angle we're going to take on this morning's little class. We can work the hands to the ground to help us to step through, and we sit up nice and tall, and we sit. So we try as best we can to keep the back nice and long and straight. A sort of vertical line. We want to avoid, if we can, this sense of slouching. We sit up nice and tall. Keeping the tummy nice and engaged and drawn back, and the hands reach down. And then lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. If we can't quite achieve that straight back, that flat vertical back, we can try and keep the straightness and lean back into it. Keep this arm out of the way, behind it, and we want to be up. We don't want to go too far back. This is going to be an exercise in its own right. So we want to try to be as vertical as we can and as straight as we can, but we don't want to lose that straightness in order to feel a little bit more upright. We sit up nice and tall. Draw the tummy in and lengthen, and we just reach the hands forward as far as we can, and we catch something, anything you like. Inhale and lengthen, and exhale we lower gently forward as you like. We try to keep the back reasonably flat, but there is a forward bend, so there is going to be a curve in there. We just don't want to over curve, that's all. It's more about lengthening forward than it is about going down. And we hang out here for a moment. After a few breaths, you might want to add to it by lengthening on the inhale and reaching even further perhaps on the exhale here. Another option is to bend the knees. We bring ourselves quite deep into it. We do have a tendency to bend the knees around the back when we do. Upright we come. Now we take the hands back, push the hands into the ground, and we're going to work those shoulder blades in together. Point the toes away. If the neck is free, we might even look up as we push with the hands and hang out here. Upright we come, fantastic. From here, let's take from the side. We're going to take our right leg, again I'm mirroring you guys. We're going to take the right leg and take it in towards the inner thigh. You sit up nice and tall, and then leaning over any part of the extended left leg, we lower gently down and we just hang out there for a moment. Don't want that extended foot to drop out to the side or in. We want to keep it nice and vertical. We lengthen, we breathe in, and we sit tall. Lift the knee up, and we can hold from here. So we want to try and keep the shin nice and vertical. It's nice to leave about a palm's distance between the inner thigh and the foot, but again, we're not going to do anything with that space, so it doesn't really matter. We just want to try and keep the back up nice and long and breathe. In and out through the nose, always if the nose is clear, but so long as we don't lose the breath, as in it gets caught or stuck or we hold the breath, then we'll be fine. From there we take the right hand back, and we turn to the right, and we try hug into that right leg with the left hand and try keep length in the spine. We don't want to take a twist all hunched over, we want to be nice and long, and this is a nice little, hopefully easy enough option. If you want to add to the twist, we can look beyond, off to the right, or we can add to the twist, and we'll do that in a different video. Forward we come, fantastic, and then from here we take that same leg, right leg pops back, try flexing it as much as we can. We want to try keep both hips on the ground, but if we find that we're a little bit elevated up here, well that's fine, we just sort of lean to the side. So if we're a little bit tight in the hip, we might have to take the knee away, that's fine. We might be lifted, that's fine. We've got to lean, keep the torso and the hips going in the same direction. But if we can have both down and the foot pointing straight back, you don't usually want to be too far out to the side, it's a little bit full on, and then we lower down. If you find that we take this lowering position and the balance is gone, well, we can use the hands to offer the support so we don't drop off to the side. We'll probably come, we lengthen, and then we release. From here we just extend that right leg away, and then we take the left leg in towards the inner thigh. We lengthen, and again we reach. So whatever works for us here. Nicer to have a long back, and a rounded back. You want to round the back and get the extra depth, keep it up nice and tall. Lengthen from here. We remember we just drew the knee in and we sat tall. Taking that left hand back and hugging the left leg with the right arm, and we sit up tall so the back is nice and flat, and again if the neck is free we look over the left shoulder. Keep the tummy nice and strong. We hang out here for one moment longer. tall, we take into that left leg, and we hug it in, nice and close to the hip. Sit up tall, be nice and balanced. We find that we're quite lifted, we lean to the side to go with it, but otherwise we take it nice and low. We can have the hands to help, or we can take the hands away, or we can do whatever option feels appropriate. We definitely don't want to feel any discomfort. It is a challenging posture, so if there's any, definitely any pain, then we'll pop out of it. Upright we come, fantastic. Lengthening in, and then we extend that leg away again. Reaching the hands towards the feet, and sitting up as tall as we can. Taking the hands away from the feet and down towards the hips, we push into the ground. We just link in with our breath again. In and out through the nose if the nose is clear. And the main body of our movements today. And now we're just going to double things up slightly. We just take from there, our seated position. We take one leg out to the side, take the other leg out to the side. We've done it standing, and we take it about a leg's length apart. So that's a leg's length, and away we go. We sit up nice and tall, and we reach the hands down to wherever it is that they're going to reach today. So from the side, we're trying to keep the back reasonably flat as we lower forward. So ideally we want the movement to come from the pelvis coming forward, so the back remains mostly flat. We don't want to be curving into it. We want to keep the chest leading forward, the back flat, the legs nice and strong, and just lower down as far as we can comfortably before we can't go any further. Of course, we have to stop there. We don't want to force into it. But at the same time, we don't want to lose that engagement in the back. We're trying to work on those two pillars of muscle on either side of the back to just control us down. We're not doing anything other than keeping our back straight as we lower in and lower in. Keeping the chin up if the neck is free, but it's more about having the chest up, so it's not so important to keep the chin up. Inhale and lengthen. And then from there we just take a foot in towards the midline. We've done it already. We take a foot in towards the midline. We join the two together. And we can keep the feet nice and far away from the hips whilst keeping that lovely straight back. Or if you like, we can bring the heels right close in towards the midline. We can even push ourselves forward to it. And again, we want to try to keep the back nice and flat if we can. We're going to get a chance to bend it down a second, so we want to keep the back nice and flat. So we can use the hands to hold onto the feet in order to work on that straighten. From here, we can try and lean forward, and again, the chest is forward, so we may not come very far before we collapse, and that's fine, so we can hang out here. Otherwise, we can continue moving, and we lower down as far as it's comfortable. I'm not a big fan of pushing the knees down into position. Just let the muscles of the legs look after those, and then we can lower down. We don't need depth. Upright we come. Now we're going to draw the tummy in, and we're going to deliberately lower down with the rounded back. Upright we come. We take both feet together. Hug in. And we can use our hands and we can bring ourselves upright. Now, we may find ourselves a little bit tricky sometimes to get into this position and having the heels down. The tendency to be up on tippy toes here, which is excellent in its own way. So we can hang out here. It's a little bit mobility-wise, it's harder perhaps to get the heels down, or flexibility-wise. It's a little bit easier to have the full foot on the ground, and it helps us. So an option there is to take the hands back, but you can see my back rounds as I do. Otherwise, I try to keep it up here. It's a challenge for me. So back and back is good. Taking the hands forward, we bring our knees down. You can have a pad under your knee or a pillow or whatever when we sit up nice and tall. So we're going to keep the tummy nicely drawn back. And we're not going to do a huge back bend here. We are going to have a back bend involved in our little routine. And this is one of them. But we're just going to do a little intro. If we take the hands back, interlacing the fingers behind, we've done already. And we're going to lean. So for the moment, all we want to do is avoid the knees to drop back. We want to keep them vertical. Ideally we do send them a little bit forward of the knees, but for now we want the hips vertical to the knees. Tummy nicely drawn in, and we just reach the arms back. So I'm just trying to curve the muscles of the back and the bones, of course, down the way. Nothing too hard, hopefully. Not a full posture, just lowering in. Right, we come. Take the hands down, roll over the toes, step it through, and we can control ourselves and down. From here, lift up on the elbows and close the shoulder blades in together. We work the heels in towards the hips, and we're going to push into the legs. We keep the tummy nice and strong. I want to lift the hips to be in line with the shoulders, the hips and the knees for a moment. So take the hands, take them behind the back again like we have done. And we might work them left to right and just hang out here for a moment. After a couple of breaths, you start to get tired. If you like, you can introduce the back bend and send the hips a little bit higher, kind of pushing into the feet, send the hips up nice and high. You don't usually want to be looking left to right and thing in this posture, but if the neck is tight, you probably don't want to be this deep into it. Anyway, we lower the hips and down. We take the knees in, and we'll just undo that little back bend. So the muscles were flexed fully. And now we're just going to stretch them out a wee bit. You can have, if you like, a couple of rolls or rocks, whatever suits you. We're not done yet. From here we extend the legs, the tummy nicely drawn in again. Now sometimes the hips have to leave the ground, and the posture would have the hips leaving the ground. But in this modified version, let's work on just straightening legs first. So get those arms out of the way if you, and we just hang out here. So the back is fully on the ground. I'm deliberately bracing and pushing the lower. The legs are up. From here, across the feet at the shins, bend at the knees, reach, catch the knees, try to keep the hips down, and I've caught the knees with crossed feet. Hang out here for a moment. If we can reach down and catch the little toe side of the feet. We may have to sit up to catch it, but otherwise we catch in and just kind of draw those cross legs in. And then from here we just guide the feet beneath the thighs, still in cross legs if you like. We work the feet down, and now the feet will be in the way. So the feet are under the thighs. The lower back is going to lift a little bit. You can see a small arch there. The lower back is going to lift. And for now we go with that. If we like, we can even encourage it by working the shoulder blades in together. We can catch onto the thighs here. And we'll hang out here for a moment. There then, just lower the lower back down, uncross the feet if you like, you can hug it in. And then from there, just lowering the feet down towards the ground. Working the palms away from the hips, we lift the back off the ground, close the shoulder blades in together, relaxing down. Close the eyes down soft, and we release and relax. I going to try to soften the muscles of the back body, so I don't want to resist the ground too much. Just releasing, relaxing. The eyes close down and soft, the muscles of the face releasing, relaxing. The muscles of the back body soft and relaxed. If you find that having the legs or the knees lifted like this towards the ceiling is uncomfortable, we feel like we're using a lot of strength to keep the legs up, but we can extend the legs away. And quite often what happens then, if we're a little bit tight to the front body, is that the lower back wants to lift up again. So if we can't keep the lower back on the ground with straight legs, well, we just find that place that is right for you, where the lower back is down and the legs are weightless. The eyes are closed down and soft. Palms are to the ceiling, the breath is free, and just listen for a moment to relax. Try to focus our attention towards our breath. Or at least use the breath as a kind of distraction. Just distracting our thoughts away from all our other thoughts and ideas and notions that are racing and wandering around our minds. And just listen to the breath for a moment. Not forcing it, not changing it. Let's just listen to the natural breath. And we just relax here for a moment. Well, after one or two of those breaths, it doesn't really offer much distraction sometimes, so the mind wanders. We notice that it wanders and then we return. And noticing the wandering is focusing as well. If we extend the legs away here, hang on there for as long as you want. Otherwise, you might lengthen the legs along the floor, reach the arms above our heads along the floor. Point the toes if you like, and imagine someone's got a hold of your feet and someone's got a hold of your hands and they're lengthening. And even reaching the hands away from each other and the feet away the width of the mat. And we reach and we lengthen as if there's 4 people pulling a hand each. And we lengthen and lengthen and lengthen, even coming away from the ground, and we hug it in. Do whatever works.